Hello everyone. For you guys today, I have a small order from Roehampton Orchids in Toronto. So I ended up purchasing from them because my friend's birthday is coming up and she really wanted a specific plant. But first, I ended up having to get myself something as well because if I'm making an order and paying for shipping, I may as well take something extra on. For myself, I got this little seedling of Aspidigine argentea. And I'm really excited for this. This is a jewel orchid that I do not have yet. And I have to say, the packaging was absolutely excellent. Now, this is the one I am most excited about because she sent me a picture of this exact orchid a couple weeks ago saying that she loved it. So, this is the Oechioclades roseo variegata, and it's a terrestrial orchid with these kind of miniature pseudobulbs and mottled leaves, and it's absolutely stunning. And through the bag, it looks really, really healthy. Nice plump pseudobulbs. So what I was hoping to do for this video was actually obviously unpack them for you guys and just kind of show you how they ship the plants. These came through plant runs, which delivered all the way from Toronto to London, where they picked them up on a Sunday and then delivered them to me the next Saturday. So I'm very thankful they were able to keep them happy and healthy for the about a week that they had them. Not somebody who trusts winter shipping just because I'm pretty short on cash being a university student. So plant runs, although a little bit more expensive, at least it assures the healthy arrival of my plants. Check out how cute this Rosea variegata is. It is in damp sphagnum moss at the moment and has this awesome little tag, which I'll be keeping to give to her so she's able to identify her orchid, hopefully for years to come. And it has a little bit of a old leaf there, but nothing to worry about. I will just kind of snip it off and it's definitely in good shape. Now that I am taking a closer look at the aspidigine, it looks like it has a very long stem, which is good because that means it has lots of nodes to root from, and good roots typically mean a healthy plant. So I am very excited to add this plant to my collection and get to watch it grow. Zooming in a little closer just to kind of see the sparkle that's in the leaves. This is definitely the greenest jewel orchid that I have, so I'm excited for that. Green being my favorite color because of chlorophyll, obviously. And it looks absolutely fantastic. Some yellowing lower leaves, but that's totally natural and part of the leaf life cycle. So to the opposite side of dying leaves, it also has this cute little new leaf unfurling from the center of the plant. So hopefully I will get to see that grow out in the next couple of weeks. I want to begin by repotting the birthday girl's present. I'm doing this a little bit more special than usual with a cute little glass terrarium instead of a plastic pot. I specifically chose this glass terrarium for both looks and functionality. So upon a little bit of research into the native behavior of the Rosea variegata, I found that they are native to Madagascar, where they typically have heavy fogs at night. So I think by putting it into this kind of glass terrarium, it will act as a way to keep the humidity up at night, like what they're used to. So what I just did was add a little bit of decorative gravel to the bottom. I just chose white because that's a pretty neutral color, and this will act to create a bit of drainage. One of the worst things you can do to orchids is let them sit in water for too long, especially with this one being from a drier climate in Madagascar. I would also like to add that I have seen other orchid growers grow Oechioclades in better draining mixes, typically mixes of chunky orchid bark, perlite, and even rocks. But for the purpose of this gift, I am just going to leave it in the sphagnum moss and be careful to let it dry between waterings. If you guys do happen to grow Oechioclades and you can give me some tips on how to keep it down below, I would definitely appreciate it, and I know my friend would as well, as it is her first one. All this sphagnum is now removed, and I was careful not to damage the microstructures. So now I'm going to prep the plant. In order to protect all these new roots, which are about 4 of them, I'm just going to wrap it in a little bit of this sphagnum moss, and this will probably make it easier to plant to when I put it into the terrarium. What I am doing now is just kind of making sure all the sphagnum moss is not too packed in, and I'm creating a little bit of a hole in the center for where I'm going to put the plant. And that's just to make sure that the plant is pretty secure in that and it's not going to jiggle around, as I find that most orchids don't like being moved too often and it will actually stunt their root growth if they are. So I'm just going to kind of almost like lightly massage it in and make sure it's oriented in the fashion that I want it to be, because it is a present after all. So I think my best bet is to probably put that big pseudobulb at the very back. So I will probably just rotate it by kind of picking up all the sphagnum moss around it and just twisting it into space. Okay, so I think that is looking pretty good. I have a little bit of extra sphagnum moss because I made a little bit of a mess, so I'll just pop that in there and sweep this away. But here it is. Cute little orchid in its new home. It's pretty easy to take out, and that opening to the glass globe is pretty large, so if we decide that she should repot it and change the media, then it will be pretty easy to do so. I also have this small little amethyst crystal that I want to add in, so it's just kind of like a cute little thing to put in. It gives a bit of a pop of color, and who knows, maybe it will act as like a good luck charm for a happy plant, and hopefully one day this cute little orchid will actually bloom for her and she'll get to experience that. Up next is my little new plant. So first I'm going to have to get him out of this cup. And from what I've seen about Roehampton, a lot of people typically leave them in these cups because it keeps the humidity up, which is especially important for seedlings. But I have kind of an enclosed terrarium where I use a essential oil diffuser, obviously without the oil, and that keeps the humidity pretty high. So here's a little bit of a closer look of what's going on here, and I'm just going to try and jiggle off the sphagnum from the stem of the plant. And it looks like it is, well, it's quite small, but at least it has several new roots growing from the nodes. And just before I continue, I want to add in that I was well aware of the size of the plant when I bought it, so it's not a surprise. So me saying it's small is not a negative thing. It's just me trying to describe what I'm seeing. And I was very much expecting it to look exactly like this, so I'm just very happy with my purchase. I ended up just taking the leca that was sitting at the bottom of that kind of slushy cup thing that Roehampton does, and I'm just going to throw the sphagnum moss on top of it. I do grow pretty well every single one of my jewel orchids in sphagnum. Sometimes I'll amend it with a little bit of perlite or orchid bark, but I think for this seedling, just keeping it in damp sphagnum moss is probably the best way to go. And again, I'm not too worried about having it enclosed in the cup because of the terrarium I have keeps the humidity pretty high. So definitely above 70% relative humidity. That is really all I had to cover in this video. I hope you guys enjoyed the unpackaging and repotting. I just turned him around so you guys can get one final glance at how cute he is. And thank you guys for watching and happy growing.